Hey, I'm going to be making a video in my beauty blogger set, which is just showing what I'm doing about my black eye. Like this is the bruised part here, and then a lot of this other stuff is actually just kind of like scrapes because I had a Karchuk fight, which means that there's no gloves, it's just ropes. And so the ropes kind of do this kind of like scraping, cutting thing. This is 2 days later. It was a little bit more red the other day, but it's basically just kind of trying to have like a little bit of a bruise on my ear, which I've never had before. So it's basically just trying to like keep it nice. Like I'm not really worried about bruising so much. I don't need to get rid of it. I don't have like a day job or something that I need to worry about. But if you are in circumstances other than mine where you are trying to get rid of your black eye much faster, these are some things that will help, and they're pretty easy. I've made other vlogs about how I deal with injury, and I used to ice, and I don't really ice anymore at all. So like my shins, things like this, I don't use ice. On my face, I will use ice because you tend to have like a bunch of swelling. The swelling's gone down a lot. You can see that this eyelid is a little bit heavier because there's a little bit of swelling in there. If you get any kind of cut or something above your eyebrow, a few days after it starts to heal, all of that blood is going to come down and you will end up getting like a really dark black eye from stuff kind of draining from your forehead. So I do use ice on my face. I was icing it yesterday and the day before, not super religiously. I just use like an ice pack kind of thing with like a little bit of cloth over it. But the things that I've been using and will continue to use on my bruising is arnica gel. So I'm from Boulder, Colorado, which means everything I do has like a hippie tilt to it. Arnica is actually really great. It's not something that you can find easily in Thailand. So if you're in Thailand, you might have to order this. I got this on iHerb is what it's called, and I think it sends from Germany. But it's like arnica, beeswax, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't smell great and it's kind of oily. When I was a kid, we called it moose snot. But if you just put a little bit of this on like the bruised parts, that's pretty good. And then the second thing that I got that I started using after the arnica gel, and I'm using both, this stuff is amazing. Hydroid, this is like a little bit of a stronger version. Usually it's a red tube, like red and white. This blue tube is like extra strength. You don't necessarily need extra strength. I just like when things are a little bit extra, like more bang for the buck kind of thing. But basically this you can put on like 5 times a day, that kind of thing. I was told to use this on even phi, which is like abscess when it hasn't opened yet, when it's just kind of like a boil. You can use this on that. But so basically just put that wherever you have the bruising. And again, because my bruising is actually a lot of scraping, I can now feel the surface of my skin is very like rough, and it stings to put anything on it. So if you're in that situation where not only do you have bruising, but you have a little bit of like scraping and stuff like that, it can happen from Velcro if you get it in sparring, or it can be from like the tape or whatever on the gloves as it's kind of like scraping across your face. If you're having a situation where the surface is kind of scraped and stuff like that, be cautious about what you're actually putting on it. In this case, this is not hurting that much. There's not like a high alcohol content or anything in this. Arnica, because it's like beeswax and stuff like that, this one doesn't really sting when you put it on no matter what. It doesn't have any kind of mentholated whatever. Because it has the waxiness, I put it on after the hydroid, because if I put it on first, the hydroid won't actually go into the skin. But basically, this is the like a couple of times a day kind of thing, just to help with the swelling to go down and a little bit to help with the color going down. And at this point, having done ice for 2 days, if I had a little bit more deep swelling or deep bruising, like if the color was more than this, or if it was kind of like pooling under my eye, you can use like a warmed up washcloth, or Helen was just telling me that in Myanmar they were telling her to use a boiled egg, which I was taught also up in Chiang Mai. It's the shape of your eye, so it's really helpful. You just boil an egg, let it cool down to the point where it's not like scalding, and then you can either wrap it in a towel or not, but just like put it in your eye, and it kind of rests right in the nice orbital crevices of that. So anything that's kind of warm that you can help draw blood circulation to that area will help a lot with the deeper bruising. But that's just my vlog on how I'm dealing with my eye scrapes and bruises, and it actually looks really good. For just a couple of days it's been clearing up much faster than I thought it would, but again, most of it is very topical, so it's one way to deal with bruises. Silly's like beauty blog.